Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Walt Mueller here. I know it's afternoon here in Pennsylvania. I know some of you are still in the morning, but thanks for taking time out of your busy day and your busy schedule to join us here on this webinar. We're going to spend a half an hour making you aware of how we here at CPYU hope to be able to help you and equip you to encourage and minister to parents. This is actually what we do here all the time. And there's a little bit of a story behind this that I'll begin by telling you. Back in 1985, the way we got started in this was back in 1985, which was before I'm sure many of you were even born. I had joined the staff of a new church outside of Philadelphia as a youth pastor. And this was, by the way, the year that you'll be familiar with this film. This movie came out. Some of you know the cast of The Breakfast Club. That great John Hughes film. I continue to watch it every year. It gives great insight into youth culture, and at that time, a youth culture that was changing and changing fast. These were the kids, basically, that I was working with back then, and we were doing family-based youth ministry, really caring about parents and involving parents. We understood that they were called by God to be the primary influence in the lives of their kids. So we wanted to take that into account and really serve as people who supported them, a secondary influence in the lives of kids. So as we were doing that, we began to realize that the parents were a little bit clueless as to what was going on. A lot of this was sparked by the parents themselves who came to us and said, hey, we have a problem. We need some help understanding our kids. If we're going to nurture them spiritually, we need to know how to bring the Word of God to bear on the changing realities of their world. As I think back, I think about another film that was big the next year, 1986. This actually came out that first school year that I was with these parents, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which actually changed my life in a lot of ways because there's not many places I go now with youth workers where somebody doesn't start going, you know, Mueller, Mueller, Mueller. So it's been some harassment for me. But the great thing about this film was it really does portray where parents were at in terms of being, as Ferris Bueller's parents were, incredibly naive and out of touch. And so we thought, you know what, if this is the way parents are, we need to answer their request and help them understand kids. All that led to the launch of CPYU back in the latter part of 1989. We knew there was a need, and so we started to work to basically fulfill this mission, help parents understand teenagers in their world. In the meantime, we've had a lot of great, over the course of 25 years, a lot of great opportunities open up elsewhere. We do a lot of work with youth workers. I know most of you know that. We've had great face-to-face conversations with you folks at conventions and seminars and things. We do a lot of work with educators, with teachers, with counselors, with pastors, with grandparents. It's really stretched out. And I'm excited about what we do and to be able to help you do what you do the best. As a parent, I just want to say to you as youth workers, I want to encourage you, we need your help, and we need it desperately. And so it's great that we have you alongside of us. So what we're going to talk about here are some of the things that we've come up with here over the years at CPYU that are some tools or avenues for you to be able to minister to parents, to connect with parents, to equip parents, to encourage parents. And I'm just going to highlight 10 of the tools that we have. Most of these, I'll just let you know, are free. And I want to thank our donors. We're a nonprofit ministry, and these are people who believe enough in you and believe enough in us and believe enough in the need to reach out to kids in today's rapidly changing world that they're funding our ministry. And so as we talk through these 10 things today, think about that. Some of the things that I'll show you do cost a little bit of money. I want to let you know that this is really not an advertisement that's going to put money in anybody's pocket, but rather if you choose to use any of these resources that do cost a little bit of money, all that goes back to support our ministry as well. And I do want to let you know right from the outset here that everything we talk about today, we're going to follow up with all of you with an email, and we'll include links to all these things. So if I rifle through this a little bit too fast, just be aware that when we're done here, we're not going to leave you hanging. We'll be back in touch with you and let you know what all these things are. So I'll spend just a couple of minutes on each of these and highlight some of these things. Bear with me as I work with the technology here, because I'm going to jump back and forth between the webinar content, and then some live stuff on the web in terms of our website and some other resources. So we're going to let you know about this really quick. So the first thing, obviously, is our website. This is recently relaunched in the last few months. Chris Wagner here, along with some other folks, have redesigned this, made it very user-friendly. This is a shot of the homepage. Disregard the face there. But this is the homepage, and this is where we want to encourage you to come every day. It's updated every weekday with a little bit more. I'm going to click on here, and what we'll do is quickly just go live here, and you'll get to see the website. And so as I scroll through here, and you can go visit this as well, you can see that everything's easy to navigate here. There's a scrolling box at the top that will highlight some of our new things. There's one of our 3D reviews that's new. That's about a new webinar that's coming up. And then as you scroll down, you'll find some quick links. Now, these are the things that we put up here to help you get to things quickly, and then also this is where the newest stuff will appear on a daily basis. So, for example, I just blogged this morning on this, and there's a blog post there that you can connect to. We'll come back, talk about that. Our Youth Culture Today radio show, there's today's show right now, and then some new news as well as some of the resources. So as you scroll down and you see that, the one thing I want to encourage you to do is if you want to equip parents to understand culture, just come to the homepage every day. Maybe find one thing right in here that's new that you can pass on to them, and I think what will happen is you'll be a hero. I'll just highlight this because I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but over here under resources, we will often post our 3D reviews as well as our trend alerts, and I'm just going to mention this quickly. This is one that we put out last week on what's called Facebook depression. And so when you go to the trend alerts, I'll click on it, you can see pretty quickly that it'll take you to a page where you can download it. All you have to do is click here, and you're going to get a downloadable PDF. It's all free. It's something you can email on to your parents, forward on to them, put up on a Facebook page, or print it out and hand it out. Again, it's another way that we're equipping you to equip parents to to really understand youth culture. So that's the website. Now, that said, I want to make you aware as well that on social media there's a couple other ways that you can connect with us. We're using Twitter more frequently now, and if you choose to follow us on Twitter, and I'll click through, you'll see that we have a CPYU Twitter page here. And on this Twitter page, all you have to do is sign up to follow us. You can see we're at about 8,400 followers right now. And you can even see today the kinds of things that we're sending out. So news stories, things, again, that you can connect with. And, again, we encourage you to go on this every day and retweet. This is all yours to use, and we do this as a service, definitely as a service for you. In addition, we do have a Facebook group. I know that Facebook is always changing things, and you might go on there and try to get to our Facebook page. That's old. If it's saying to you, hey, request permission to be on here, you're on the wrong place. What you want to do to find us on Facebook is get to a page that looks like this. And this is our Facebook page right here. And so you'll see the same thing, that this is a place where we're posting things all the time. Again, there's news stories and such. And one of the things I want to encourage you to do with this is to interact with us. If you're finding something that we need to be aware of, this is a great place for you to post it, and encourage your parents to interact as well with others. The interaction's been a little light on this, but it's growing. It's growing rather fast. We want to encourage you to be sure to be there. The second thing that I'm going to share with you that we think is a great tool that's been around for a long, long time is our weekly Youth Culture e-update. This was developed years ago by Doug West. He was one of our research assistants here. Doug's since moved on to do other things, but Chris Wagner, who's here, is now putting this together. It's done almost weekly. Sometimes we'll miss a week if we're sending something else out to you, but it's delivered by email, and again, this is free. So this is the logo for it, and what you'll want to do is, again, go on to our homepage, and you'll see here as I scroll down that right down at the bottom, right here, there is an e-update sign-up. So if you're not already getting that, sign up for that, and encourage your parents to do the same. You can also forward this on to folks. And again, it's a tool that you can use to just scroll through, see what's new this week, and maybe choose from it something that will be especially helpful to you in your ministry, not just raising your awareness, but to help parents have their awareness raised as well. One of our best kept secrets, this is number 3, is our Youth Culture Today daily radio show. It's a 1-minute spot. It's also available as a podcast. Right about now, it is on about 800 stations around the country. You would have to check to see where that is locally to you, but if you don't want to wait for it to air on a station, you can go online and check this thing out on the web. What we do with this is we'll give you in 1 minute some trends, updates on trends, some tips. Again, it's free, and we encourage you to forward this on to people. I'll just show you real quickly again that if you go to our home page, and all you have to do is start at the top and scroll down, you can access the show, today's show right here. So today we have a show that we put together that offers some commentary from a young female Christian photographer who's doing a lot of photography for high school seniors, females who are graduating. She actually is talking to seniors about the lack of modesty in their photos. So again, it's a cultural trend. We quote her, and it offers, especially today, it offers some great advice and talking points for parents and teens, and it's certainly something you can pass on. You can, if you go up to our resources here, and just go over here. Once this drops down, you'll see there's a lot of radio shows there, but some other resources as well. Just click here for the Youth Culture Today radio show, and as you scroll through, you'll see that these are archived. And once you get to the bottom of the page, you can go to the next page. And these are all archived. And again, if you've got a topic you want to address with parents, just send it on to them. Or maybe you could use one of these as a conversation starter when you're doing training with your volunteers, or you're having a parents meeting or a training of some kind. So the Youth Culture Today radio show is one that we're excited about. And again, we put a lot of time into this, and we're trying to give you something that's useful. Clipping along, number 4. We know that the number one influence on children and teens in today's world is the media. And we believe that every square inch of our lives needs to be lived under the lordship of Jesus Christ. And so even the media world needs to be a place where we disciple kids into thinking critically and Christianly about media. Those of you who've been following us for a long time know that we do this all the time. And one of the tools that we've developed, took a long time to develop, is this little guide, How to Use Your Head to Guard Your Heart. We call it a 3D guide, because basically what we're teaching kids to do through this little booklet, and these are available from us, are to first sit and objectively discover what the worldview piece is in the media. And again, we're trying to get them to think critically and Christianly. So we want them to process media consciously and critically and Christianly, as opposed to just sitting there and letting the media wash over them without ever thinking about it. Mindless consumption is what we call that. Then we move to the step of discernment, where we take what we've learned in the discover process and put that up against the truths of God's Word, and evaluate what truths the media piece is telling and what lies the media piece is telling. It's a great way to involve kids in discovering how the Bible speaks to life, and involving them in Bible study that's real life Bible study. And then the last step is the decision step, decide, where you're going to decide what you're going to do with this. This is not just something that we are encouraging youth workers to do with their kids, and we have tens of thousands of these out there, lots of kids who have been trained in how to use this. This is one of our long-standing resources here, and they are very inexpensive if you go on our website. I think about $1.50 each. But it's something that we want you to train parents to use in the home, and we think maybe first and foremost that's where this needs to be used. So we want to encourage you to involve parents in the training. If any of you have opportunities to work in the public school realm, we have developed, at the request of several people, a similar sister tool to this that we call Minding Your Media. Again, discover, discern, decide, but rather than being based on the authority of Scripture, what we do in this is we use the virtues, the timeless virtues, and it's actually a piece that can be used in media literacy classes in public schools, or it can be used in character education programs in public schools as well. For both of these, we want to be able to help you use them effectively. So one of the things that we've done, and for both of them, these are available. You can go onto our website and you can find these online at cpyu.org. There's these leader guides that are available that walk you through how to teach the use of this guide and actually engage in using it with students. In addition, our friends at Simply Youth Ministry approached us a couple of years ago and had us videotape with them a 3-week DVD curriculum that can be used with students or with students and their parents in your youth group setting over the course of 3 weeks to help them learn the 3D process. And this is an interactive DVD. There's some video clips of me, as well as lots of time to stop and talk and learn and actually put into practice what you're doing. All these things are available on our website. I'll throw that back up here, and all you have to do is go right up here to the store, get into the store. I won't go into it now for the sake of time, but if you get into the store where you can purchase all our resources, those are there. And in fact, right now we do have a media discernment bundle that's available where we're bundling this download curriculum along with several of the 3D guides, so you can get them and use them together. The fifth thing we're going to point you to is another free resource, and actually it's our Digital Kids Initiative. This is something that we started thanks to a grant from a local company, DAS, Dave Abel Services, locally here in the Elizabethtown, Central Pennsylvania area. They believe in what we do, and they believe in helping us help others engage kids in terms of what's happening in the digital world. And so what we did with this particular initiative is we felt that it deserved a spot of its own on the internet. So I'll just click here and show you. What we've done is we've set this up so there is an entire website that you can access and find all kinds of resources that will help you not only understand kids and their digital world as it develops, but also resources to use to engage with kids and guide them. So as you scroll through here, you'll see there's some of the latest research. We're constantly updating that. We do seminars on this, and if you click on this little tab right here, you'll be able to go and see what kind of seminars we could offer in your setting. We would come to your church or your community to do these. We do them all the time, all over the country in Canada, and even we've done things globally over the years. One of the areas on this site that I really want to point out is this section called Downloads, because if you click on there, you'll find really two things. We've got some handouts, and all these are available. One of the things that I would point you to right now is with pornography being a huge issue. We actually have a handout here that's, I believe, a 7-page PDF that you can download. Again, all of this free, and you have, just freedom to print out as many as you want or forward it on to as many people as you'd like. And then if you come over here to the fact sheets, you'll see some as well. We're constantly adding that. Right now there's 3 there, and if you just keep an eye on that or you sign up for our Twitter feed or the Facebook page, we'll let you know. And in the update, you'll hear as well when we post new things there. So that Digital Kids Initiative is something we want to make sure that you are aware of and that you take the time to spend some time on that site and to learn about how to help parents with that. Sixth thing real quickly is our blog. And this is actually something I write. It's not every day. This is where I interact with culture and think about culture from a faith perspective. This is something that you can find through on our homepage. You can either go here and access the blog by just clicking here. This is today's blog. I wrote something today on just the power of suffering to take us deep in our faith, how suffering is actually a gift, and how with our kids I think we need to pray that they would encounter just enough suffering and just enough difficulty to take them deep in the things of God and deep in their relationship with God, to cry out to Him. And so that's the blog that I wrote today. If you go back, you'll see at the top of the page as well that there is a drop-down or a tab there you can hit, and what you'll hit here is actually an archive of all the blogs. So if you want to scroll through and see what we've been blogging about over the course of the last weeks and months, this goes way, way back. And by the way, I'll just mention, there is a search function here, right up here, and that's very helpful if you're preparing a talk or a lesson or you want to respond to a particular cultural trend. Always go to that and use that, and that will certainly help you find what you need to find on our website. I'll point you to number 7 here real quickly. Again, I wish these things were free, but unfortunately they're not because they cost us something and we need to be sure that we recover that. And these are some books, and I want to point out to you some books that we have in our resource center. This is just a small sampling that are especially helpful for parents. Youth workers are always asking us, you know, I've got these parents or parents struggling with this or with that, or I want to start a parents group. What are the best books for me to use? So I'll just show you real quickly. This is a little book I wrote called The Space Between, A Parent's Guide to Teenage Development. If you just want to do an introductory course on adolescent development or equip a small group to go through a basic primer on adolescent development, this is the book that will be very helpful for you. And I want to let you know you can order it through us. It is very helpful if you do order it through us as opposed to Amazon. I think our prices are pretty competitive or better. And when not, if you order through us, again, remember that goes back to support us. I know that sounds like a bit of a commercial, and actually it is. But what we have put up on the site that's free is this guide right here, study guide that, again, is downloadable, and you can use that to help you craft what you're going to do with parents. I often get asked about the best parenting books, and these are 2 books that I absolutely love, that I would encourage you to pass on to parents if you're going to look for a gift to give to parents around Christmas time, or you want to start a small group for parents that's parents-led. These are not written by us, but they're written by people we know and trust. The one on the left is Leslie Leyland Field's book, Parenting is Your Highest Calling, and 8 Other Myths That Trap Us in Worry and Guilt. By the way, if you have parents who are struggling, and I know you do, feeling like they're not doing a good job, Leslie has written a phenomenal article that you can find on the internet and on our site, which is called The Myth of the Perfect Parent. When I encountered that a few years ago, 2010 I believe, I actually started to correspond with her. I was so excited about the article and how liberating it is for parents that she said, hey, that article's in this book, Parenting is Your Highest Calling, and ever since then I've been carrying this book with me wherever I go to speak and letting youth workers and parents know about it. On the right, of course, Paul Tripp's classic book, Age of Opportunity, A Biblical Guide to Parenting Teens. Can't recommend it highly enough. So I would encourage you to maybe use both of these books in parents groups and get them in their hands. Tripp's book, by the way, is a thing I like about him is very realistic, very vulnerable, doesn't leave you feeling beat up, and certainly very biblical in terms of what he says. Now, I know some of you are dealing with parents of prodigals, and I have these conversations all the time, and I don't think there's a parent in the world who doesn't go through some moments, whether they're short times or short periods or extended periods of time, where kids are struggling with their faith and they tend to wander from the faith. We see that a lot now. 2 of the books that I found to be incredibly helpful here are both older books, but they're timeless. John White's Parents in Pain, Overcoming the Hurt and Frustration of Problem Children. The book you see right here is excellent. White had a son who, in his words, went terribly, terribly wrong. And it's just a great book that encourages parents and helps them to respond to these things biblically. The other book on the right, Comeback Barber, is written by a pastor, and Jack Mueller. Jack has died, went to be with the Lord years ago, but he wrote it along with his daughter, who actually was a prodigal. And the beauty of this book, and I've read it a couple of times, it is so good. The beauty of this book is that Jack Mueller, in trying to parent his daughter, who really went way out there, and wandered far. And by the way, she was the textbook youth group kid until she went off to college. We hear that story a lot as well. Jack said, you know, the thing that he and his wife learned more than anything else was that in the midst of him trying to parent his kids, God was parenting them. And so it's a wonderful book to give perspective. I think some of you are familiar with this one. If your parents want to learn about youth culture, it's one I wrote called Youth Culture 101. We have that available here as well. And then lastly, these 2 little books from us. One's one I wrote, 99 Thoughts for Parents of Teenagers. I always joke that's the bathroom book. Folks at Group and Simply Youth Ministry helped us with that. And then this little book over here, Make College Count by Derek Melleby, who was on staff with us and is still working with us with college transition issues. That's a good book to get in the hands of your high school seniors and juniors before they graduate to prepare them for the transition to college. Again, all those are available on our website through the store when you get up to that little tab on that menu bar at the top. Number 8, we're coming down to the end here. Our College Transition Initiative, I mentioned that when I mentioned Derek's book. And our College Transition Initiative actually helping youth workers and parents prepare kids for the transition to college, or we would say life after high school. The College Transition Initiative has a website of its own as well. And I just want to show you this very quickly. Set up very similar to our Digital Kids site. There's an easy-to-use menu up here, and then also information on seminars. There's lots of resources here, research and news. We've got media, and that's over on the Digital Kids site as well. We've been loading radio shows that relate to these issues on these specific sites. We have videos that are on there that are helpful, as well as other types of media. So as you scroll through, you'll be able to see that there's lots of good resources here as well. Moving on, I'll get to number 9 very quickly, and that's these are our seminars, and these are actually things that we are doing on a regular basis. Last week I was in Montana. Yesterday I was local here at the Milton Hershey School. Next week I'll be local as well, then we'll be moving on to Pittsburgh and then to the National Youth Workers Convention in Atlanta, up to Canada to work with youth workers at the beginning of November. We're really all over the place, and I would encourage you to go, if you're interested in having us come to your church, just go to our website, click up here on the menu bar on the seminars page, and you'll be able to scroll through and see some familiar faces, I know, to many of you who are speaking on our behalf, either on our staff or on our associate staff. And what you can do here is just go in and click, and here's, for example, a sampling of the seminars that I do, and you can actually go and click on a particular seminar. I'll just share this with you. One of the issues right down here that we're talking about a lot is pornography. This is a scourge that is all across the board in our culture. And so one of the latest seminars that we've added is actually a seminar I do with kids face-to-face in small group and large group settings, where I just go in and have a heart-to-heart with them, speaking to them adult to adult, respecting their brains and their cognitive abilities, speaking about it in mature ways, about the issue of pornography, working to help them understand their sexuality in all of its wonderful goodness as God's made it and given it to them, and helping them to experience it in all of its wonder and goodness without falling into the trap of pornography. So we talk very openly about something that, let's be honest, most kids have found, or if they haven't found it, it's found them. So there's our seminar page, and just, again, navigate through there. There's a form as you work through here. If there's a particular seminar that you're interested in that you can fill out, that will, this seminar request form right here, that will go to our office, and we can start to work with you to set up a seminar. And then here's our event calendar if you want to see if we're coming to your community or near to you. Let's move on here to number 10. The last one I'll mention is our monthly parent page, and we're pretty excited about this because this has been a resource that we've had for years. It is by subscription. Our parent page is a 4-page monthly subscription-based PDF that when you subscribe to it for $5 a month or $60 a year, when you subscribe to it, it will be delivered to you before the start of every month, or you'll get an email telling you how to access it. And what you'll be able to pass on, and I'll show you here just very quickly, these are the 4 pages from our latest. This is October. And again, we're trying to do this really inexpensively, but give you a tool to pass on to parents to help them. Our first page always has an article on a trend by me, along with a youth culture hot quote. The second page will give you some stats, some lists, some things that are of interest to parents, all done in a very short, kind of a soundbite format. And then the third page will include some trend alerts. Down at the bottom here, you see every 3 months we have something on college transition. We'll also do things in that box on digital kids, and a box now that we're starting on sexual integrity. And then, of course, the last page here, we want to challenge people with the scriptures, so I will always give them something to think about from God's Word, and then point them to a helpful resource that we've found to be a good resource for parents. So, again, we want to encourage you to get your folks to have this in their hands, and you can subscribe to it. Let me just click here and make sure we get to the right page. If you go here to resources, you'll be able to see rather quickly that down here there's a couple ways to access this on our site. there you can go to our parent page, and when you find that on the site, just click on through and you'll be able to download a sample issue. You can learn more and you can subscribe. And I don't know if you're seeing this right here, but I just noticed this. We're still running a special offer on this where if you subscribe, we'll send you 5 copies of my book, Opie Doesn't Live Here Anymore, for free. So that's a great deal. Those are our 10 resources, and I want to just give you just a peek real quick and let you know we haven't talked about this a whole lot yet, but we do have a sexual integrity initiative, and there will be a site that's going to be launched hopefully within the next 2 months, much like our digital kids site or our college transition site, to help you understand and address issues related to sexuality. We'll be dealing with, again, issues of pornography, the purpose of sex, God's wonderful design for sex, the gift of sexuality. We'll be talking about same-sex attraction and all the issues related to that. So keep your eyes and your ears open for that as well. So as we come to an end, I'm just going to give you a couple more things here. One is I just want to say thank you. We appreciate your involvement with us, and we want to be involved with you. We want to support you. We want to encourage you. We want to push you to engage with parents. And as you do that, again, we're going to follow this up with an email with some links. I will tell you this very quickly, and that is that next week, and we'll include information on this in the email we send you, next week we're going to have a 90-minute webinar where I talk about 5 pressing megatrends in youth culture that every youth worker and parent needs to be aware of.